Hello everyone, this is a Fire-Lite Miniscan 112 conventional fire alarm panel. These were produced throughout most of the early to mid 1980s. These are the smallest panels within the same lineup as the Scan 1000 and Miniscan 424. So let's take a look. Here's a label containing some information. These panels first appeared in brochures as early as 1982. Compared to the Scan 1000 and Miniscan 424, the operating interface on the 112s are a bit smaller and more simplified. There's only 4 operator buttons, and each zone has its own disable switch, as per usual. So here's what's behind that dress plate. The Miniscan 112 pretty much consists of a terminal board, the electronics card, and some optional accessories on the bottom. Right here is the transformer and power supply, and that connects to the very top of this board. This is an MCB12 board. This is the terminal blocks for the system. Then the card that sticks out is the MEC12. The Miniscan 112 was also available in 24-volt versions as the 124, and a Demco may have had 6-volt versions as well. Probably can't see it, but above that 12-volt VDC text, it says this panel was made sometime in 1986. So going down the terminal blocks, right here is the AC input with the breaker. These 2 fuses are both for the signal circuits, which are right here. Next to it is the reverse polarity remote transmitter. That other supervised point right here is the master box, and that's your single zone. The Miniscan 112 had 1 zone by default, was expandable up to 4 zones with a zone expander, and there was also an option to make this panel a release suppression system. So down here is the expansion card with the terminal blocks and then the card. On the left side of the board, these pairs of contacts here are 2 alarm relays. These 2 blocks up here don't really do anything. This jumper cable here, this is for a supervised zone. If this jumper is removed, there will be a system supervisor indicated on the system. And these various terminal blocks are for auxiliary power. There's both filtered and unfiltered. And all these wires jumbled up here, these are all annunciator outputs if one is connected to the system. As I found out while testing this, that without these connected, none of these alarm LEDs would indicate. So you have to jump them like that. But if you had a remote annunciator, like this one, that came with this panel, you would just take each of the zone's outputs and connect them to the system annunciator, like so. This looks like a custom plate, but there was the RZA4 annunciator, which is used on many of the 4-zone panels that Fire-Lite had. So there's a lot going on for this very small fire alarm panel. So let's connect some devices to it and power it up. Okay, so here's what we have on the demonstration. We have an Demco 822 smoke detector with a heat sensor, Fire-Lite BG10L, and the signal is a Wheelock V7001-12. No signal coding, so that'll just be on continuous. So let's just hit it. Okay, so this panel pretty evidently outputs full wave rectified power, and the V7001 has so much EMF backing into the panel that it kind of causes all the indicators to flip out. It's kind of interesting. It's a factor of the signal being so close to the panel, and those horns just output lots of EMF. So even for a solid state panel like this, there's a fair amount of interference going on. Now this panel has a system test switch, that red button. It's pretty much a manual evac switch. We'll see if it works even if there's a trouble in the system. Well, I guess it does. Alright, now let's test the smoke detector. We're just going to be testing the smoke detector portion, not the heat sensor. And while we're at it, we'll test the system on batteries, and that horn should sound a lot better. So here we go. Forgot to mention this earlier, but like a lot of older 80s Fire-Lite panels, you can silence the system by just disabling the zone that goes into alarm. Alright, so we'll air that out and then we can reset the system again. Okay, that should be good now. Perfect. So this was the Fire-Lite Miniscan 112, a very small panel from the early to mid 1980s. Fire-Lite will go even smaller with the MP12 and 24 panels starting in 1986. And while those panels were quite simple, the Miniscan 112 and 124 maintained the small size while also providing a variety of features, such as being expandable, having various optional modules, and it could be even configured for a release suppression system, which is pretty impressive for a panel of this size. Like many other Fire-Lite panels from the 1980s, these are quite rare nowadays, and they are better off as a collector's panel. If you do find one of these though, these make for great demonstration systems, and possibly even a little house system. Anyways, if you have any questions or comments on the Fire-Lite Miniscan 112, feel free to post them below. But until next time, have a nice day.